Hey guys, sorry I haven't been on the last couple of days. I was having some trouble with my iPad, so I've got it up and working and everything's good. So I left off in chapter 9. There had been some time with Little Bear with the cowboy and Omri getting to know him. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up. Little Bear had asked Omri to get him a tomahawk, which is a type of an axe. I think they used as a weapon and as a tool. But he was talking about getting some fish. So let's see. You get tomorrow fish from plastic. Good tools, but fire now. Chief Little Bear say. Omri sighed. He went to the waste paper basket and picked out the remains of the other fire he'd thrown away in there. There was quite a lot of firelighter left. He gathered up some of the bits of willow bark and twigs from where Little Bear had been working. You're not having it inside, though. It's far too dangerous. He arranged the fire on the packed earth of the seed tray about 6 inches from the entrance to the longhouse, first moving the teepee to safety. Then he struck a match, and soon there was a cozy blaze. Little Bear crouched beside it, his red skin glowing, his eyes bright and with pleasure. Little Bear, can you dance? Yes, many kinds. Would you do one now so I can see? He hesitated, then he shook his head once. Why not, though? No reason to dance. Maybe if I got you a wife. Little Bear looked up eagerly. You get? Give word? I said I'd try. Little Bear dance, then do best dance, love dance. Omri turned off his light and drew back from the scene. It looked amazingly real with the fire making shadows, the little horse munching his grain, and the Indian sitting on the heels warming himself, wearing his colorful headdress and chief's cloak. Omri wished he himself were small enough to join Little Bear by the fire. Omri, are you in bed? I'm coming up in 5 minutes to kiss you goodnight. Omri felt panicky, but it was all right. The fire was going out. Already, Little Bear was standing up, yawning and stretching. He peered up through the darkness. Hey, Omri, painting's good? Great. You sleep now? Yes. Peace of great spirits be with you. Thanks, same to you. Omri peered quickly into the crate. The poor cowboy had crawled away into his makeshift bed and was snoring loudly. He hadn't eaten a thing. Omri sighed. He hoped Patrick was making plans and arrangements. After all, if Omri could keep his Indian secret, Patrick might do the same. All might be well, but Omri certainly wasn't going to try the experiment again. It was just all too much worry. He climbed into bed, feeling unusually tired. His mother came in and kissed him, and the door was shut. He felt himself drifting off almost right away, when suddenly a piercing whinny sounded, and he was answered by another. The horses had smelled each other. They were not so far apart, and the cowboy wasn't tied up. The cowboy's wasn't tied up. Omri could hear his little hooves clattering on the bare boards of the crate. And then the whinnies began again, high, shrill, almost questioning. Omri thought of putting on his light, but he was awfully tired. Besides, what could he do? They couldn't possibly reach each other through the planks of the crate wall. Let them whinny their heads off. They'd soon get fed up. Omri rolled over and fell asleep. He was awakened just after dawn by shots. He was out of bed in about 1/5 of a second. One glance into the crate showed him all too clearly that the cowboy and his horse had escaped. The second glance showed how. A knot in the wood had been pushed out or perhaps kicked out by the horse, leaving an oval-shaped hole like an arched doorway, just big enough to let the horse and rider through. Omri looked around wildly. At first he could see nothing. He dropped to his knees beside the seed box and peered into the longhouse. Little Bear was not there, nor was his horse. Suddenly, some tiny thing whizzed past Omri's ear and struck the crate beside him with a ping. Twisting his head, Omri saw a feathered arrow the size of a pin still quivering from its flight. Was Little Bear shooting at him? Little Bear, where are you? No answer, but suddenly a movement like that of a mouse caught the corner of his eye. It was the cowboy. dragging his horse behind him. He was running, half bent over and behind one chair leg to another. He had his revolver in his hand, his hat on his head. Another arrow flew, missing the crate this time and burying itself into the carpet. Just ahead of the running cowboy, who stopped dead, jumped back till his horse hit him, and then fired another 2 shots from behind the horse's shoulder. Omri followed his aim and spotted Little Bear at once. He and his horse were behind a small heap of cloth, which was like a snow-covered hill to them, but it was actually Omri's vest, dropped carelessly on the floor the night before. Little Bear, safe in the shelter of this cotton mountain, was just preparing to shoot another arrow at the cowboy, one that could hardly fail to miss its mark. The poor fellow was now scrambling desperately onto his horse to try to ride away, and was in full sight of the Indian as he drew back his bowstring. "Little Bear, stop!" Omri's frenzied voice rang out. Little Bear did not stop, but his surprise spoiled his aim, and the arrow sped over the cowboy, doing no more than sweep away his big hat and pin it to the baseboard behind the chair. This infuriated the little man, who, forgetting his fear, stood up in his stirrups and shouted, "Tarnation take ya, you red varmint! Wait till I catch ya! I'll have your stinking hide for a sleeping bag!" With that, he rode straight toward the Vest Hill at full gallop, shouting out strange cowboy war cries and waving his gun, which, by Omri's account, still had a couple bullets in it. Little Bear had not expected this, but he was only outfaced for a moment. Then he coolly drew another arrow from his quiver and fitted it into his bow. "Little Bear, if you shoot, I'll pick you up and squeeze you," Omri cried. Little Bear kept his arrow pointing towards the oncoming horseman. "What you do if he shoot?" he asked. "He won't shoot. Look at him." Sure enough, the carpet was too soft for a gallop, and even as Omri spoke, the cowboy's horse stumbled. I'll show you a picture here real quick. You can kind of see Omri there. And then down, I don't know how well you can see on the floor, there's the cowboy hiding behind the desk, or the chair legs on the desk. Sure enough, the carpet was too soft for for much galloping, and as soon as Omri spoke, the cowboy's horse stumbled and fell, pitching its rider over its head. Little Bear lowered his bow and laughed. Then, to Omri's horror, he laid down the bow among the folds of the vest, reached for his knife, and began to advance on the cowboy. "Little Bear, you are not to touch him. Do you hear?" Little Bear stopped. "He try shoot, Little Bear. White enemy. Try take Indian's land. Why not kill? Better dead. I act quick. He not feel, you see." Then he began moving forward again. When he was nearly up to the cowboy, Omri swooped on him. He didn't squeeze him, of course, but he did lift him high and fast enough to give him a fright. "Listen to me now. That cowboy isn't after your land. He's got nothing to do with you. He's Patrick's cowboy, like you're my Indian. I'm taking him to school with me today, so you won't be bothered by him anymore. Now you take your horse and get back to your longhouse and leave him to me." Little Bear, sitting cross-legged in the palm of his hand, gave him a sly look. "You take him to school? Place you learn about ancestors?" "That's what I said." He folded his arms, offended. "Why you not take Little Bear?" Omri was startled into silence. "If white fool with coward's face good enough, Indian chief good enough. You wouldn't enjoy it. If he enjoy, I enjoy." I'm not taking you. It's too risky." "Risky? Firewater?" "Not whiskey. Risky. Dangerous." He shouldn't have said that. Little Bear's eyes lit up. "Like danger. Here too quiet. No hunting. Him only enemy," he said scornfully, peering over the edge of Omri's hand at the cowboy, who, despite the softness of his landing place, was only just scrambling to his feet. "Look, he no use for fight. Little Bear soon kill. Take scalp. Finish. Very good scalp," he said generously. "Fine color. Look good on belt." Omri looked across at the cowboy, who was leaning his ginger head against the saddle. It looked as if he might be crying again. Omri felt kind of sorry for him. "You're not going to hurt him," he said to the Indian, "because I won't let you. If he's such a coward, it wouldn't do you honor anyway." Little Bear's face fell and grew mulish. "No tell from scalp on belt if it belonged to coward or brave man," he said slyly. "Let me kill and I do dance around campfire for you," he coaxed. Whew, Little Bear's something else. "No," Omri began. Then he changed his tactics. "All right, you kill him, but I won't bring you a wife." I'm going to leave off right there and see how Little Bear reacts if Omri won't get a wife for him. I will be back tomorrow. And remember, tomorrow, if you guys haven't seen already or heard, we're going to be trying to get around to everybody's neighborhood the best we can and come by and honk some of the teachers and myself and say hi to you guys. You got to stay up on the curb. We can't stop and talk to you, but you'll see us. We'll be able to wave and just make sure you guys know how much we miss you. We'll talk to you soon.